A lot of people burn fat really easily. And it's not because they're doing anything special, it's because they know things that you don't. One of the most underrated exercises for losing fat will probably surprise you because believe it or not, it's actually just walking. That's right, walking. Just ordinary putting one foot in front of the other. The thing that you gotta understand is that movement is medicine. When you get outside in the sunlight, in the fresh air, it gives you time to think. It gives you space for active meditation. It puts you in the right frame of mind. I know plenty of people that have dropped 20, 30, 50 pounds, 100 pounds just from walking. I know people that have lost 30 pounds of fat just from walking without even changing their diet. And now I would never recommend that you eat junk food and eat rubbish every day, but it just goes to show how effective something as simple as walking can be. You see, what people don't know and why it's so powerful is that when you do that slow, steady state cardio, your body is actively burning fat. Your body's not using glucose for energy, it's not using ATP for energy. And that's what your body uses when you do those super hard workouts, right? When you're doing those, when you're doing that sprinting, when you're doing that running, your body's not actually burning fat when you do that. Your body's burning fat when you're doing the simple stuff, when you're walking. And when you add that into your routine, you add 5K steps, you do 10K steps a day. Man, if you get really serious and start doing 20K steps a day, man, that fat will just melt off you. And then when you combine that with a good diet, your fat has no option but to melt away. But you gotta learn to have the right habits. You gotta know what foods to eat. You gotta know to sleep properly. You gotta know to have the right mindset. You gotta know to be consistent, right? So you take something that's simple and effective, like walking, and you combine that with other things that are simple and effective, like a high protein diet, like a calorie deficit. And when you start combining things and you stay consistent with them, the fat melts away. But a lot of you guys have never been consistent with anything. A lot of you guys don't have the confidence. That's why you need to get around other people that are confident, right? Confidence is contagious, but you're stuck hanging around losers. They don't want to see you get fit. They don't want you to have abs over summer while they stay fat every year. They don't want you to succeed. That's why you have to get around other people who have the same goals as you. And that's not going to happen unless you start changing your behavior, unless you start taking action, unless you start doing what needs to be done. So if you really want to lose that body fat, what you actually need to do is just take the first step. You need to start walking. But you and I both know that unless you have someone there motivating you and calling you out, you're never going to change your habits. So here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to make it really simple, but I'm going to leave the ball in your court. You're going to be the one that has to take action. You're going to be the one that has to prove that you really want to lose fat, that you really want to have abs. You're tired of looking in the mirror and being embarrassed, right? What you're going to do is you're going to do what you see on the screen. You're going to go on a channel, you're going to click the links, and then you're going to message. And you're going to send that first message. And at first, you're going to be unsure of yourself. You're going to think, do I really want to take this step? But once you do it, you're going to realize that the only thing you're going to be asking yourself is, why didn't you do it sooner? You're going to have those abs. You're going to look good for the summer. You're going to have confidence. You're going to have people in your corner that can motivate you and encourage you and put you on the right track and give you the information that you need to hit your goals. And the reason why you're going to be in such a strong position is because you chose to make that step. It's because you chose to take action and reach out and send that message. And that's what allowed you to grow and transform as a person. And in 2 months' time, you're going to look back and your future self is going to thank you for making that step, for taking that step and doing what needed to be done, reaching out and taking the first step. I look forward to working with you guys. And remember, walking is the most underrated and most efficient exercise you can use to shed body fat and get those abs for summertime. Until next time, guys. Peace.